The two videos I posted this week, Sarkozy's conviction in France and Germany's chancellor promoting far-right immigration policies, have something very important in common, which is that both of those stories involve independent investigative journalists breaking major news that we never would have found about otherwise. In the case of Sarkozy, the French website Mediapart broke the corruption scandal of Sarkozy soliciting money from Gaddafi in exchange for political favors, and in Germany, the website Corrective broke the story of the secret strategy meeting between the AfD, the CDU, and neo-Nazis. But the parallels go deeper, because in both cases, the politicians involved led huge PR campaigns to smear and discredit the journalists who broke those stories. And those PR campaigns were largely successful, with not only right-wingers, but many moderates too believing that that reporting has been debunked and it was all fake news all along. And then, in both cases, the reporting was vindicated by subsequent independent official investigations, Sarkozy's corruption trial and conviction in France, and the report by Germany's domestic intelligence services about the AfD's many ties with neo-Nazis, which led them to officially label the AfD an extremist organization. Then, in both cases, despite the fact that the reporting by those journalists had been vindicated, the damage done to those media companies' reputation is probably not going away. If you mention the names Mediapart or Corrective to a centrist or a right-winger in France or Germany, they'll smirk and say, "Ugh, those aren't journalists, they're activists who smeared the right with fake news," despite the fact that the story that convinced them of that was proven right. Because, finally, in both cases, those political parties have managed to associate in the minds of their supporters the independent investigations that vindicated the reporting with the reporting itself. So when the original news came out, they lied and said it was made up, or there was no evidence, or it was taken out of context, or it was misleading, or it was based on fabricated documents. Then they ignored the findings of more official investigations. Then they lied again, claiming that those investigations, Sarkozy's corruption trial and the BFV report, didn't have any evidence or was just based on the biased work of activist journalists or far-left investigators and judges. So they piggyback off of the smear campaigns against journalists to also discredit by association the official investigations that have reached the same conclusions. And of course, all of this narrative comes from the politicians and their parties, but it's pushed and amplified by the massively funded right-wing media machine that is owned by billionaires who support those same parties and politicians. And the combination of politicians and billionaire oligarch media owners has so much more power than small independent teams of investigative journalists. Because investigative journalism is an incredibly unprofitable line of work, so support independent media who you think does important work. And I'm not going to claim to do reporting that is nearly as brave and impactful as Mediapart and Corrective, but if you want to support Barely Informed as well, consider joining us on Patreon and follow for more.